So I'm going to be ranking every major villain in Kagurabachi, and this is going to be based on how much of a threat they pose in the manga and how much they might pose in the future as well. Kind of consider both of those at the same time. So here we have Madoka. We did see that this is the guy, if you guys don't remember, he's the one that summons the Dharmas, the first kind of small little mini villain going into Sojo here. He was able to blow things up. He stole Char. Otherwise, Sojo, he was kind of fodder for Sojo here. So I'm going to put Madoka at a D tier. So now we have Sojo. So Sojo, I have a whole video dedicated to him on the top right corner if you want to check that out. I think he's really cool. I think the fact that he's a perfect foil for Chihiro makes him a really great villain here. And I just enjoy seeing him whenever he's on the screen. So I think for me, Sojo's going to be an A tier. His fight against the anti-Cloud Guardian squad was really cool. Of course, I made a video about that too, about the consequences of that fight. But yeah, Sojo's just a fun villain, and I hope we get to see him again, even if it's just through a flashback. So now we have Bingo. So Bingo is one of the Hishaku members. He is able to use his ability Mako that lets him turn his head into this dog and summon other little dog faces to attack things. Or I think they're like lion heads. Either way, it's a cool attack. I think he's a strong villain. He never really was pushed to that limit. Even when he went against Ikuto, it didn't feel like he was that pressured. So I do think that Bingo has a lot of potential to be really strong in the future. For now, I'm going to put him at a B tier. So I thought I'd just do all members of the Toe, and this is of course part of the Sazanami family. So here we have Enji. Enji is just the brother that we really don't see do too much. He's just kind of in the background. I think just because that, we're going to put him in D tier. Same thing with Tamaki. Again, they just really don't accomplish anything, and they're not that strong, at least from what we've seen. Now, of course, we might see them later on and they might surprise me, but I doubt that's going to be the case. Then we have Tenri. So Tenri, I really liked. The fact that he sacrificed his life for kind of nothing really sucks. But I love his dedication, and for that, I'm going to put him at least a B tier. Then we have Soya. So Soya, I know that a lot of people love. I think he has a lot of potential. I did not think he was going to come back. So the fact that we're going to see him again makes me pretty excited. I'm excited to see what Soya is going to do. I think he is going to come in and protect Hakari in some way. But I am excited for that, and Soya, I'm okay with putting him at a B tier because he was overall threatening and he did a good job going against Shiba. But ultimately, he was defeated by Hakari and Chihiro. I can see him having a lot of potential later on. So now we have Hatshaku. So Hatshaku, we don't know his name. We just know that he uses the wood sorcery. I did get it confused before and thought that Yura was able to use it, but it looks like this guy is able to give seeds to other people to use his wood sorcery. I think this guy is very slept on, and he's going to be a major villain later on. I just kind of feel like that. The fact that he was the first Hishaku member we really got to know, and we still haven't gotten much info past that point. I think for now I'm going to put him at a B tier just because I feel like there's not that much that we know, but he's definitely going to be a big threat coming into part 2. So now we have Hiruhiko. So Hiruhiko was a phenomenal villain. I know a lot of people kind of dump on him just because he lost 3 matches, right? And he hasn't really won anything, but I like the way he fights. I think the fact that he has like his freedom way of fighting is really cool. Love the way that he was just able to pick up Komiyuri and use it right away. The fact that the only thing is he had to go against Samura, who was already really good with the Toby Moon and was able to push it past his limit, so it wasn't completely fair to him, but the way that he was able to evolve this weapon was incredible. And I think Hiruhiko has a lot of potential. I know a lot of people are dumping on him right now, but going into A tier, I think he's going to surprise us all going into part 2. So now we have the medic. So we haven't seen him do much. From what I remember, he was the one that was able to reattach Hiruhiko's arms back together after they were cut by Chihiro during the whole theater fight. The medic here, we know that he seems pretty rational. He seems like a logical character. Part of me suspects that he's hiding something under there, and under his neck, like a little sleeve thing, and then we're gonna see what that is. But for now, I'm okay with putting him at a C tier. He is kind of underwhelming. I do think he's gonna do something later on, but for right now, he's kind of whatever. Now Hokuto's fun. I like the fact that he's just super into fighting, and the main thing is that he just wants to find a strong opponent. I think his armor sorcery is really good. I think the fact that he's able to summon the puppets remotely to do his own thing while also being able to attack with it. We did see one of those puppets that was there to kill Kunishigi. We did see one of Hokuto's puppets go against Azami. Didn't really do much, but I'm curious how Hokuto himself would have gone against Azami. Besides that, we did see him go with Yura against Misaka and Uraha, and it was a great, phenomenal fight. He did lose an arm during that fight. I'm sure they're going to patch that up, but he's a phenomenal sword fighter and he seems super into it. And yeah, I think he's gonna be a good villain going into this. I don't think he's super threatening. Like, yeah, he doesn't feel crazy threatening to me like I feel Hiruhiko is gonna be, just by the basic fact that he has an enchanted blade and he's gonna hold on to that for a while. I think I'm okay with putting Hokuto at a B tier. So now we have Kuguri. So Kuguri was able to push Chihiro to the next level because Chihiro was at that point where he couldn't rely on Enten, and so he had to fix his swordplay and actually learn how to wield a sword. And I think he was a perfect villain for that. And I think it's cool that he's just holding around what I remember to be Subaru's sword, that he's just kind of holding it and getting used to it. And I think Kuguri is going to be a super strong villain. Obviously, something's going to happen to Subaru in one way or another. And I think Kuguri is going to ultimately be able to wield the weapon. And if I'm putting stocks into that, I'd put him on an A tier. But right now, he hasn't done anything too phenomenal. We've seen him go against Chihiro, and that was a cool fight. But for now, I'm okay with putting him at B because he hasn't had any like crazy performances. And in terms of the narrative, he hasn't played any crazy role either. Next, we have Kyora Sazanami. So he is the leader of the Sazanami clan. I think Kyora is very strong. I think the fact that Kyora was able to keep control of the Magatsumi at least a little bit and fight out Akemura's will makes him pretty powerful. And yeah, Kyora is just super strong. He's obviously a threatening villain. We kind of felt his presence whenever he was there. The fact that he was able to summon the toe anytime he wanted, and the fact that he's able to control the storeroom and got decent control of the Magatsumi and was able to fight off both Chihiro and Hiyuki at the same time was really cool. A lot of crazy feats. Obviously, he ultimately died to it, but I think Kyora is a good villain, and it felt super just focused. I just really love that arc. It felt really good, really focused. And yeah, Kyora is just an amazing villain for that. So then we have Samura. So Samura was super threatening. I think it was at first a little confusing to me when he attacked Uraha. I was like, damn, so is this guy, he just got bought off in some way and he's ultimately a villain? But turns out that he's a lot more complex than that and ultimately turns around, right? But in that beginning there, he felt so threatening, and the fact that he's able to prevent anyone from using the enchanted blades because of his existence was crazy. I think he just had this presence to him. Having the owl eyes in the sky during this whole arc was super cool, super fun, and I feel like the whole time we felt his presence in that arc. And I really like Samura as a villain. I think I'm okay with putting Samura as an S tier for that, and the way that he turned around, right? It just felt like Samura couldn't die. And even though right now it seems like he's gone, it does seem to imply that in some way he's going to come back. At least that's what I'm betting on. Then now we have Toto. I don't remember much about her. I don't think we got to see her main sorcery. She is a member of the Hishaku, so obviously there's that inherent strength that's to that. But I just remember that she was there with Hiruhiko, and she was there when she was killed by Samura. That was ultimately a banquet hallucination that Hiruhiko was able to use there. But Toto doesn't seem like she's done anything crazy. Maybe she's going to be a crazy monster that we don't suspect. But for now, I'm okay with putting her at a C tier. So now we have Uran. So Uran is able to use ice manipulation. And I liked one of the theories that I mentioned in one of the other videos that a commenter had about the thermal regulation, that maybe she's going to be able to create fire just because there was a fire during the attack on Konoshiki that ultimately killed him. And so maybe that fire is related to her in some way. Maybe she's able to not only control ice, but control fire. But yeah, she felt threatening. She was there with Bingo, and she put up a good fight against Ikuto. Obviously, Ikuto was able to break through her ice. I think besides the ice manipulation, she doesn't seem like she's too powerful. And ultimately, I'm okay with putting her at a B tier. Maybe we'll play around with the tiers a little bit. Now with Yukisada, this is a 17-year-old boy that we know that Yura was able to recruit. It seems like he pretty much can't die, or at least is able to regenerate himself. The scene where he was carrying his head was very cool. I think he just felt super threatening, and the fact that Yura has hyped him up so much really puts up a lot of potential for this guy. So I'm curious to see what he's going to end up doing. But for now, I'm okay with putting him with a B, and then we'll see if we move things around. So now we have Akemura Soga. So Akemura Soga has lived up to the hype. We saw that Chihiro was able to say, hey, I have the Enten, I'm here to destroy the Magatsumi. But even with that, he was able to destroy the Enten with very little issue. And eventually Samura comes in. He's able to fight Akemura Soga, fight back through his life-draining force, with his own regenerative force, and I thought that was really cool. It was a really cool fight between Samura and Akemura. He just had this powerful presence throughout the whole manga, and he lived up to the hype in every single way. He lived up to it, and he's just a super fun and cool character. I think he's an S tier here, and I can't wait to see how Chihiro is able to defeat him. So now we have Yura. So Yura's pretty cool. He's pretty complex too. I'm curious to see what exactly he's planning and what background he might have. With Yura here, he's a fun villain. He had this presence to him while he was there. The whole 4-man fight was really cool seeing Yura, even though he's not super experienced with swordplay. You could see that he was totally comfortable in that fight. I liked how he turned around once he realized that Soga is totally in his right mind. Obviously, I think Yura is being set up as the main villain of the show, and Akemura Soga is just the kind of villain of the past that is still alive. Yeah, I think Soga is going to be the main villain for now, and then it's going to eventually go to Yura as the final villain. At least that's how I kind of see it. Honestly, I like Samura and Soga a bit more, but if you guys can make the argument for him, I could see Yura being an S tier as well. Then we have Ariu. I think that's how you say his name. So we see him in the flashback arc. We saw that he was able to take care of younger Shiba, and he was able to take down 2 members of the Soga clan and Mashiro without much trouble. He was just kind of using the side effects of the Tenseki, and then once he used it, he was able to take complete control of the fight. I think he's going to be very fun to see as kind of the main villain of this arc until we eventually go to Soga, and then obviously they're going to go against him. But it's going to be fun to see him get taken down. He has a good presence to him. He's just very fun to see on the page, and I can't wait to see how they kind of deal with him and how he's going to be defeated ultimately. So part of me feels like there should be an extra tier where kind of in between B and A, right? And that's where I would put Bingo, Uran, Yukisada, Kuguri, Hokuto, where I could see them being slightly better than Tenri and Soya. And yeah, it feels like a little awkward creating this tier list just because the A tier are more established villains that have clear incentives, and the B villains are the ones that we kind of see for short periods of time but have a lasting impact, right? But otherwise, I think I'm pretty okay with this tier list. I think it's pretty solid. I'm curious to see how you guys would make this tier list. So of course, the tier list maker, like always, is going to be in the description down below. Let me know what it looks like. Post it in the community post. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.